Sarasota Dog Salon, which was my brick and mortar dog grooming business in Sarasota. And I have since opened a mobile unit. It is just me right now. And since starting the mobile business, I have been thinking a lot about my story behind the Sarasota Dog Salon, where I started, how I ended, and I thought that maybe if I share my story as a business owner to other groomers, entrepreneurs, business owners, I'm hoping that I can help others not make the same mistakes that I did, and maybe capitalize on the positive things in being a business owner in this industry. So I'm going to do a series of short-ish videos, basically just telling my story as the owner of the Sarasota Dog Salon, from when I started, the ups and downs, the pros and cons, the mistakes I made, so that hopefully my story can help other groomers and business owners in their journey. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was I started the Sarasota Dog Salon in 2017. It was just me. I started that business with a loan from a friend, and I opened the doors with about $8,000, and I had to completely build out the salon from top to bottom. At the time, I had about 5 to 10 clients of my own that had followed me from other salons that I worked in Sarasota. So from the very beginning, it was just me, and I remember it so well. It got so busy so quickly, and I was very grateful and excited. I wanted so badly to give employment opportunities to friends of mine that I had worked with. So I hired, probably too quickly, a bather, and that was okay. Once my books were filled up fairly quickly, I was booking about 3 to 4 weeks out. I then hired another groomer who at the time was a friend of mine, still is a friend of mine. She had previously mentored me at another grooming salon. She taught me my finish work, hand scissoring, breed standards. She really helped me increase the quality of my work. So I thought she was exactly who I needed, and she was, to be in my grooming salon. But I hired too quickly because I did not know, as a business owner, what my monthly cash flow was as far as in and out, my expenses, what my profit and loss was, what my percentages were, what I was taking home versus what I was spending, and ultimately, I did not know what I could or couldn't afford in my business. So traditionally, in the grooming industry, most of us know that a lot of groomers are still accustomed to getting paid 50% commission. And now that a lot of us are realizing that a 1099 is not very legal as far as a way to pay an employee in the grooming industry, but that is what used to be. So groomers used to be paid 50% on a 1099, and quickly added another groomer because I thought that's what we needed. And again, I did not know what I could or couldn't afford. And over the next year or so that was about 2018. And so I paid the bather. They got 50% on a W-2. I paid the bather hourly on a W-2. And after that first year is when I realized that what was coming in was significantly less than what was going out. So 2 years into my business, I realized that I had messed up. And after going through my expenses with my bookkeeper and talking to others in the industry and seeking advice, I learned that 50% on a W-2 is closer to 70% after taxes. And if you're also paying a bather on top of that, it adds about another 10%. So my payroll was 80% of my income. So my next step was to figure out how to fix what I had done. The business was already in the negative, and I didn't know how to climb back out. The only way to fix the mistake that I had made was to decrease my commission that I was paying my groomers. And that did not go over well. I also had a plan to increase the prices of my grooms, which I had solely based on the other salons around my area and not what my business needed them to be. So I plan to increase my prices by 10 to 15% and decrease my groomer's commission to 35%. That 35%, however, I paid a bather. They didn't have to pay the bather or tip them out. So what happened after I made those two changes, I lost my friend. She was my number one groomer at the time. And as far as quality, she didn't want to make less with the 35% commission, which is understandable. I know that that can be very scary. It's a big drop, but my business would not have survived another year, let alone 6 months, if I didn't make this change when I did. What I did realize very quickly, my other groomer stayed. She's very loyal, and she was a great employee. She stayed, and what happened was she actually made more. After I raised my prices for the grooms and lowered the commission to 35%, she made more because groomers are tipped on the full amount. And I could do calculations, but I don't want to waste time on this video for that. So if anyone wants to see that, more than happy to, or just drop some calculations in your head. At the time, my grooms were $55 a piece. We raised them to, I think, $62, and lowered the commission from $50 to $35. And we lost a few clients, but most came back, and the ones that didn't were replaced by others that were happy to pay the price for the quality. And I would say that was my first big mistake in the grooming business, is not understanding my books, not knowing what I could or couldn't afford, hiring too fast, and allowing the growth to make the decisions for me, and hiring on a 50% commission. Those three things would have made my business fail within 3 years if I didn't make the changes that I did. to any business to pay 80% of their income to employees and payroll. If you have questions,